So I remembered what it was that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about looks and how, should I come off good or pretty or not pretty or average or um, how should I come off? I feel like it's really important to come off probably mixed, like right in the middle. Like I want to look pretty because being pretty attracts, um, well, attracts males definitely. It will attract viewers. It will probably make me seem more sane and more. It might get people to listen to me more, and that's a good thing. Okay, it might also attract a more sexual side of things, but it's good that is because sexual attraction is there's good and bad and everything, and there's good in people feeling drawn to you because you're attractive. That's why I try to look attractive, but in reality I don't really like when I'm walking around the streets for some reason, even though I absolutely love clothes, even though I have I have plenty of really nice clothes. I often find myself just walking around with things that I don't really like or things that I don't look good in, or maybe I do look good in it, but it doesn't match properly. And, often I'm like this, I love fashion. So why, I'm not famous, so I don't feel like people are watching me. But at the same time, I'm God, and occasionally I do get this paranoia feeling that maybe I am being followed. If there is a whole bunch of government people who believe that I'm Christ, maybe they are following me on the cameras, the security cameras and stuff. And I think that'd be kind of creepy. Like I don't really want that because I don't want to get this paranoia feeling. Or I don't want to feel like, oh, I'm looking really awful and I'm looking, or get caught picking my nose or something like that. It's a bit gross, and so I don't really like the idea of being followed. But at the same time, it's making me aware, that I am God, and people might be following me or whatever, and it's making me aware that I'm not always dressed appropriately or nicely, and I feel like there's a reason why I do things. Sometimes I look a mess, and I feel like that's looking bad is also quite a good thing, because if there's a bunch of Christians who want to believe that God is inside them and guiding them and following them around even to the toilet and things like this, I think if they saw me as being someone who's quite ugly, they would not like me or not listen to what I say. But when they start realizing that I am God, it might scare them to think that someone quite or ugly is, following them around or inside of them or guiding them. I think the word that I would describe it is I can look pretty, and I think I look kind of okay now. I can look pretty. But I also can look ugly, like if I'm wearing horrible clothes, or if my hair is a mess, or if the lighting's just not right. I or if I have spots on my face or something that really annoys me. But yeah, it's like a balance. Like I've also got like quite I hate my profile. I'll show it to you. Okay, I really don't like how, I don't know. I just feel like my chin's too high, and I definitely will get plastic surgery if as soon as I have money or opportunity, I would definitely get plastic surgery because I hate the way I look. But I feel like I am God, and I've obviously deliberately not made my looks perfect. But yeah, the thing about perfection is that actually you're perfectly flawed is sometimes the word. And because I would say that I am, I can fall under the category of perfect, not because I'm actually perfect, but just because I'm perfectly flawed, e.g. things like not looking, like not have, like being uncomfortable with my nose. I feel like that that has good advantages to it, because maybe there are people that want to make fun of how funny my nose look or something. And I feel like if they want to do that, it's actually just a reflection on them and how they're not very nice people, or to think someone, you shouldn't listen to someone, or that someone can't be God because they have a funny nose, or are insecure about the nose. I think also if you're insecure about something and people are happy to sort of wave it in your face, I mean, it's fine if it's done as like a joke and not taken seriously, but to sort of make you feel bad about something that you feel uncomfortable about, I feel like that's quite a horrible thing to do to someone. If someone is wanting to do that to me or something, it's another test. I feel like there's loads of tests that can be done on the Big Brother house. My sister, she lost custody today, and so the child is going to a foster parent, and she gave a little clip of her voice saying that, with little details, and she sounded nice, and I trust that woman can look after Well, a lot of people can. It's an easy thing to look after a baby. Let's just say that. I think foster care is probably the best solution because I'm pretty sure that foster care is best if it's a short term, like 2, 3 years. If it's going to be longer than 2, 3 years, then adoption should be the case. And I don't know about Sophie's abilities, but I do know that whatever's going to happen in the future, if there's going to be 3.5 years of Sophie needing some sort of guardianship, because I'm going to be the most famous person in the whole world soon. And yeah, my sister, my mom, my family, everyone that's sort of connected to me is going to have a little bit of fame. Well, they're going to have more fame than others. I don't know if Donnie will become famous, and I've got a feeling that he's going to go down the bitch lane, because that's what he's amazing at. But yeah, there's good and bad and everything. Even someone who's an amazing bitcher, that works to its benefits. If people want to, you know, insult me and they want rather listen to guys like that, then great. He's helping me. I could say loads of terrible things about him, but at the same time, he can help me. Everyone around me can be used because they are a witness to me. And Sophie is going to need some sort of protection. And well, if Sophie's going to have protection, then might as well find someone who can protect Sophie and a baby. And my mum will hopefully be a little bit happy that she gets this child. She's constantly going on about this child and constantly talking about George, and it's very annoying, and I don't really want her in my life. I definitely don't want her in my life, and I feel like this child will help her, but I do definitely want the child in my life. But it's Sophie's child, and Sophie does want a kid. I don't really know why she's so desperate to wanting. She wants to try, I think, the beginning of July or something, when she says her next ovulation is, and she doesn't know who she's going to try with or anything. And I don't know, maybe Donnie's going to come in and pretend to be, yeah, I want a child, when really he's just getting free accommodation. I don't know. I don't think he wants a kid right now because he hasn't got somewhere to stay, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he can see even something like this can help. If he can help prevent Sophie from getting pregnant next month or until I get onto the show. I don't know when it's going to be. I'd still love it to be in July. I don't know. I keep wanting to read signs about dates, and I know not to do that because I did that for the first, literally every week in that first year, and in second year and third year. I felt every time I saw a date of something, I felt like it was pointing that something's going to happen on that date, and then I was trying to find more evidence about the same date, and often I would find the same date repeating, and then get excited about something happening next week, and it didn't. And it's just, I don't want to think about dates. I do not want to think about dates. But yeah, I know when it comes to looks, on one hand, I want to look pretty because I want to attract an audience, and I want people to think that to take a look at, to listen to me. But sometimes beauty can actually work against you because they're too busy looking at you that they're not actually hearing what you say. I find that some guys can do that. They I don't know, they see a pretty person, and they just like look at their body rather than actually listen to the intelligence that they say. And other people can see someone who's ugly and feel like, oh, they're ugly, I don't want to listen to anything they say. And so I feel like coming off as ugly can be a good thing, and coming off as good looking can be a good thing. So I think casual is probably the best way to go. um but yeah, it would be good also to do both sides of things, because I think also there's a lot of people that are subconscious about how they look, and it's important that they know that it's not all about looks and stuff. I think looks is definitely important if you want to be a singer or a celebrity. I'm 100% not for plastic surgery, but at the end of the day, if you're a singer, if you're a celebrity, if you want big boobs, then if it's going to get a bigger audience, then maybe it's worth the pain. I'm not going through that. I'm not getting a boob job. No way. And it's also the same with transsexuals. I'm not actually for transsexuals. They can do what they want. It's their body. I respect and their choice, and it's fine. But at the same time, it's just the idea of going through painful surgery to change your body when it's not really necessary. Like, if you want to be a feminine girl, masculine girl, or a feminine boy, or feminine man, for that. If you want to wear dresses and skirts and wigs, you know, I actually find guys cross dress who cross dress actually quite attractive. So I yeah, um, you know, I'm completely for that. It's just the surgery part of it that I'm not for. I'm for surgery if you're, you know, if you're really subconscious about like a funny nose or thinking like every time I think about the Angel of Masculinity, what's his name? I've forgotten. That one, Jason Diablo. Yeah, every time I think about him, I kind of feel like I need to get a nose job. I just like, okay, I'm not pretty. He's good looking. He's very good looking, and when I think about him and see him, I feel like I'm not good looking enough, and so it kind of makes me think, oh, I need to like do something better or lower my chin or something to try and my profile just looks awful. Or maybe you could just not film me from the side. If you could try and just film me from the front, so no side views of me, if that's possible. But yeah. But yeah, I feel like minor surgeries. I don't even agree with big lips or anything. There's a lot of people that love big lips, and I feel like that's just unnecessary. And what other plastic surgery are there? Butt implantments. I mean, or I don't know. People can do what they want with their body, but when it comes to big surgeries like that, I just don't see it necessary. Likewise, I don't see it necessary to put to surgically put a plastic penis on you or I mean grow boobs if you want to be pose as a woman and live like a woman and be like a woman, then it's your choice. But it's just I don't like boob jobs in total. So even if you're a woman wanting bigger boobs, it just I hate pain and it just sounds too painful for me. So I don't. But yeah, that is how I feel about looks. You know, I think Lady Gaga. When she's natural, you know, she looks very different. But you know, her not looking amazing could actually be reason why people don't follow her as much. But then she does represent the devil, so maybe you shouldn't follow her. And likewise, you know, if I look bad, well, maybe you shouldn't listen. I don't know. There's just good and bad to everything, and so that is how I see it. Um, and is there anything else I wanted to say about live feed or something? I yeah, I'm happy for 24 hours, 7 days a week live feed, if that's what you want. If you don't want it, if you think it's best, there is something I felt really think. If it is on live feed, I feel like my brain. If I'll need to be told. That's the first thing. If there is 24 hours, so like people watching, I will need to know because I'll be extra thinking about it. But it's important that I think about it. The thing is, if I am thinking about it in quite detailed, if I know that there's live feed going on all the time, I know that my brain will be in sort of ultra thinking drive all the time, because I need to be really careful about what I say. But if my brain is in ultra thinking mood, it's highly likely that I won't be talking as much. I would probably just be listening and saying less. But I think saying less is actually a good thing, because I do need to be very careful about what I say, and I don't want to say the wrong thing. You know, I do kind of worry. I wouldn't ever use the N word, but I know something like that, you know, can cause a huge amount of problems and stuff. So there was a blonde girl who used it, which she shouldn't have done, and it just caused so many problems. So I feel like I'll have her in the back of my mind just to try and remind myself not to use any phrases that are, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I don't think there's that many of them, but yeah, I will try and my brain will be on overdrive, but because my brain is on overdrive, I won't be talking as much. If I'm not talking as much, it might actually be better because people will be less suspicious that I'm God. So on one hand, talking about the show, how big I want the show to be. You know, I want the show to be big. I want lots of people to see it. I think live feed does help. Will help bring in a bigger audience and make it feel bigger. But you know, in the old days, they used that, or the old past the days, a few years ago, they used to have like loads of live feed, and that was just kind of like normal and considered normal. And so if they did have live feed, you know, it's still possible to do live feed and for the show to be considered just normal average show, and a normal average show. So yeah, I want it to be like not very big, but big enough for for people to not get suspicious that anything is different from past shows, or how it was at the beginning or something. If you want to go back to its roots, as in do the stuff that you were doing at the beginning when that was considered normal, you can do that. But yeah, it's not, you shouldn't make it look overly amazing, because you need to hide the fact that I am actually God, and that you know you shouldn't, I don't want to scare people. It's important that I don't scare people, because if people don't want to like me, they need to have that choice. So it's all about choice.